Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well. And salutation and much love to the Akim out there pushing out his word in truth and sincerity. This is Brother Osh from Great Millstone, Tampa, back with another lesson. Lord's will is going to be edifying to the hopeful elect. And, just going to go through the spirit. Got some videos played, queued up here. And this place is done. Okay. As a matter of fact, well, I'll put this on the screen. Put it back on the screen. The scriptures. All right, because Esau, he coming down. All right, with guns ablazing, like Trump said not too long ago. All right, Revelation 12 and 12. It says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he has but a short time." And that's why they out here beating people up. All right, they don't give a damn if you're American citizen or not. Esau's just gonna keep turning up on you Israelites, really, because that's who the target is. All right, let's go to let's see here, Second Esdras, because even though Esau, dumbass, out there marching and protesting, they really don't give a shit about you Israelites. They just out there because they want to be part of something. But deep down, like even the black, see, this is the Black Lives Matter 2.0, but now it's you Negroes and you Latinos, all right, which are the targets. But you got a handful of Edomites out there because they're complaining of an ungodly father. They're ashamed, all right, of their past and what their people are doing. What was I gonna get? Oh yeah, the insurrection. And I just this is a video I uploaded. It's a private video, but insurrection, because Trump is playing with it, the Insurrection Act. But it says Second 16 and 70, for there shall be in every place in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord, which ultimately are the Israelites. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. So this is what we see happening as these troops that have been given the green light to start killing people out here, butchering, and coming upon you, spoiling you, having no mercy on their Israelites. And who knows where they sending them, honestly, kidnapping them and then never to be seen again. Just like Maduro. Let's see here. Play this. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. There's six of you.
Protests, tear gas, and more arrests. There's no sign of the anger subsiding in Minneapolis.
So, while Trump talking about we need to go save the protesters in Iran, people getting killed out here, getting beat up, getting shot at with all different kind of weapons, getting kidnapped, disappeared. So this is a third world country. There's sedition in the streets. So that's why Trump is about to pass this Insurrection Act. Or let me see. I chat GPT did. I said, what is the Insurrection Act and how will Donald Trump use it? So I pulled up some articles here. Insurrection Act, how it's been used. Tensions escalate as Trump threatens Insurrection Act. Explain the Insurrection Act. So here's what it says. It says Insurrection Act of 1807. So this is the Wild Wild West days, when Esau was gunslinging Joe Smith, all right, and they were just butchering people at will, all willy nilly, and that's what we're going to see again. It says U.S. federal law that gives the president the authority to use the military inside the U.S., which is pretty much martial law, in extraordinary domestic situations. Yeah, well, that now we have those situations occurring. And again, they're gonna come down like madmen, sparing none, but then spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Let's get to this next video real quick, and I'll come back to that one. The brother uploaded this one. This is I thought it was about ICE, and now they just immigrants. Now they just going door to door, taking people out their own homes, like I said, spoiling, cast them out of their houses. See, and this is gonna happen more and more, and they're gonna come fully equipped, but and they busting through doors, and they're not asking questions. They don't need to show you no paperwork. All right, this is the Gestapo. These are the madmen, sparing none. And when the people are protesting back against the government, what does that lead? What is that? Sedition. You know, people calling out, we need to bring guns to these rallies. All right, they're not respecting the authority anymore. So again, the second Ezra 15 as well, which we'll get here in a second. Which some of this shit might be staged, honestly. Some of these, because how the hell all these camera crews there? They just follow. I mean, they could have just followed them around. But anyway, this is actually happening. All right, whatever. All right, can't go back, but it's just all right. There's another one. See, it's only their time before the fireworks stop and the gunshots start ringing out back and forth between the ICE and
what began as protests against immigration enforcement.
ICE and the people out here, because the people are sick of it, man. They're poor, you know, they can barely afford to pay their bills. They're being told what they can and can't do. They're seeing their neighbors getting kidnapped, you know, so, you know, people are on the edge. For 2 Ezra 15:16, I start 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and the swords in their hands. And not only are we seeing that geopolitically, we're seeing that in America. All right, civil unrest. All right, there's a version in the, I think it's a Mark, in the NLT maybe. Let's see, civil. And this is what we're seeing: civil war brewing. And really, it's already begun to a certain degree, but it's going to continue to escalate. A kingdom divided by civil war will collapse, and this is what we see happening in America right now. It's collapsing. All right, it's at its end. Esau's whole empire is at its end, but here in America, it's collapsing from the inside out, and now it's making enemies of all its allies around the world. And the economy's about to tank. So it's just all around done. All right. For there shall be sedition among men, okay? And that's what we see happening. And invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Yeah, when this Insurrection Act and ultimately martial law kicks in, people are not going to be able to just be freely traveling, especially when their chip comes out. But right now, people are beginning to not regard. They don't care about what their governors and their, you know, the mayor, the president got to say, because they're in dire straits right now. But let's go back to the chat. It says normally the military cannot be used for domestic police. Well, now they're using federal agents and different, you know, agencies, and the National Guard, which is the military. It says used for domestic police work under the Posse Comitatus Act, but the Insurrection Act is one of the few exceptions. All right, so under the act, the president can deploy federal troops or federalize the National Guard, which he has, suppress insurrection or rebellion against U.S. authority. And that's what we're seeing, rebellion against U.S. authority.
Has spiraled into scenes that many on the ground describe as a war zone.
See, America has become a war zone. You know, and it's the wars that have been declared on you people, which has been, we've been saying this. We've been saying that Esau declared, or Trump had declared war on you American citizens, and gave ICE the green light, or all the agencies the green light, start smoking you niggas, shooting people in the face with tear gas, babies getting choked out, throwing tear canisters into the car. Esau, he don't give a damn. He's not sparing nothing. He's a madman. He's coming down with great wrath. I mean, ultimately, this is the will of the Lord. The Lord's bringing these judgments. slay old, young. All right, Ezekiel chapter 9. The Lord not having pity on you damn 2/3. And the Lord's working through Trump to keep his foot on the necks of these people, beginning with you Israelites. All right, the Lord is guiding this devil to do it. Okay, Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will. And what is he? Where is he turning this cruel lord to? The king of Babylon. All right, he's turning them to full psychotic mode. This guy's Donald Trump is going guns blazing. All right, in his own words. Isaiah 19:2, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, or the Babylonians, these Americans, and they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor. So right now, people are just coming up against the authority has been, sent out to the streets of America. But very soon, when there's no bread and in great tribulation, right, what's going to happen? Verse 8, 2 Ezra 15:18, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. Yeah, you proud as Americans, your cities are being troubled. And this is just the beginning. It's going to get a lot worse. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So very soon, it is going to turn from let's go out there and protest ICE to you going to be trying to kill your neighbor because you want something to eat. Everyone, back in Isaiah 19:2, everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst of it. And that's what the spirit of America is done. All right. There's nobody's proud to be an American. You got people, that MAGA people, hurt right now. Got nothing to say. All this bullshit philosophies and kumbayas come together. All these stupid ass ideologies that America has propagated around the world is coming back to haunt them because they're being found to be a bunch of hypocrisies. Here it is. You going to bomb in other countries because there's instability in the region, but look at what's going on in America. And I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to their idols and to the charmers and to their that have familiar spirits and to the wizards. Yeah, but it's not working. None of these idols that these heathens are going to, and including 2/3, ain't helping. They ain't got no answers. Even Esau himself ain't getting no answers, man. Satan's starting to detach from him because it's time for his downfall. It says, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, say the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai of hosts. There you go. So that fierce king is that like we read in Proverbs 21, the Lord is guiding this fierce king, this cruel Lord, aka Donald Trump. Let's see. Enforce federal law when normal law enforcement cannot. Yeah, remember all the defund the police during the BLMs and during the C-19? That was all set up to defund the police, right? So ultimately, this could happen. It says assist in domestic unrest under extreme conditions when state or local authorities can or won't enforce the law. And that's what they're saying is happening in Minneapolis and other cities, because this is happening nationwide.
Outside the Bishop Henry Whipple Federal Building in St. Paul, Minneapolis,
fair use.
Tensions exploded as anti-ICE demonstrators
and look who they put up. Of course they're gonna put a nigga to say all this. Watch what he's gonna say. And this is the sedition right here. He's calling to people to take up arms, which that's gonna fail them because come on, you don't have the equipment that these people got. These federal agents got automatics, they got bulletproof vests, and wait till they start using the weaponry they used in Venezuela on you people out here.
Confronted federal agents face to face. In one widely shared video, a protester is heard openly calling for violence against law enforcement, urging others.
See, that's the sedition. And they now they got him on camera. AI is gonna find his ass, and they're gonna go to his door and beat his ass up and kidnap him.
To fight back.
That's why you got to be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. All right, don't engage these people. This shit that's happening is for the wicked. We got nothing to do with that. We go out there on the highways and byways to prophesy and to teach And we ain't got nothing to do with these people. You shouldn't be around these protests. You shouldn't be around none of this. Because you never know when the bullets start to ring out.
Take up weapons, language that
Proverbs say, a prudent man foreseeth evil and hideth himself. But the simple passes on and they're destroyed. This is just a simple nigga.
shocked viewers and raised serious alarm.
It's just a matter of time, but before it's not fireworks.
As night fell, the situation escalated rapidly. Fireworks were launched toward ICE officers. Federal agents moved in formation, and chaos followed. According to eyewitnesses, protesters grabbed ammunition magazines that were accidentally dropped by an ICE agent, triggering an aggressive federal response to secure the area, recover the magazines, and make arrests. Tear gas, flashbangs, pepper bombs, smoke bombs. Federal police unleashed a barrage of crowd control weapons, forcing protesters to scatter through downtown streets. AP video shows bystanders blowing whistles, chanting shame as agents in gas masks pushed through the...
And a lot of these guys, they supposedly are Mossad trained, or MAGA boy, or the Proud Boys. Yeah, they're a bunch of disgruntled, looking for a paycheck. They don't give a shit, and they're willing to kill. They can't wait. Trump, they're just looking for someone to step to them the wrong way so they can blast them.
Crowd deploying tear gas to break it apart. The flashpoint came just days after the fatal shooting of Renee Good, a 37-year-old mother of three, by an ICE officer only blocks away. That death has ignited protests not only in Minneapolis, but across the country, from Los Angeles to Washington, D.C.
So let's go back to this. It says, however, the statute's language. Okay, let's go to, okay. U.S. How president would invoke the act to use the law. President typically must issue a proclamation telling those causing unrest to disperse. He's already done that. Invoke the act formally. He was about to do that, usually via executive order or another presidential action, stating that ordinary law enforcement is insufficient, which pretty much he's already done that. That's why there's these different agencies in these different cities. Once invoked, the military could be used to support law enforcement. So pretty much the Insurrection Act's already here. Though constitutional protections like free speech and due process still apply. Well, that's bullshit, because they're grabbing and shooting first and then asking questions later. Due process is done. The Bill of Rights, your Constitution, that's all done away with. In 2026 January, President Trump has publicly threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act in response to unrest in Minnesota tied to protests after a fatal shooting involving federal agents and immigration enforcement. He suggested federal troops might be sent to restore order. What do you call this?
Authorities,
those ain't federal troops.
Quickly turned hostile. Protesters blocked vehicles, yelled at workers, and clashed in the air.
All right, so it's here, man. And again, like we said, we've been saying these things are coming. It's gonna get a lot worse. The economy's tanking. It's just all around. It's looking bad for America. The laughing stock of the planet, being hypocrites. Let's see what's next. Okay, let me play this, because this guy, he's gonna explain how the economy
prices surging.
Fair use. This guy's gonna pretty much. Let's let it play through. Fair use.
Because foreign central banks are buying gold instead of U.S. treasuries. And so they're moving out of dollars into gold. Clearly, we went into Venezuela because we want their oil.
And this is just another way that is going to expedite people losing their shit when their dollar has less buying power and your wages ain't going to go up. Okay? So people are about to be, again, for the lack of bread, because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation, they're gonna be bugging the fuck out, having no pity on each other. And that's what as the king is, so shall the people be. Well, since the king of Babylon ain't showing no pity, what do you think the people are gonna do? So this is just some to hit on the economy side because it's complete chaos on the streets. Well, let's see what's going on behind the scene, which most of these people have no clue about.
We're trying to keep the price of oil down. It's one of the only commodities that's not going way up because it's not just pressure.
Yeah, well, let's see about that. I'm pretty sure it's up as of Friday closing. And wait till they do something in Iran. Look, it's definitely up $59 a barrel compared to, I think it was like 52 about a week or two ago. So you know what that well, even with all that oil that they stole from Venezuela, right, which was supposed to bring down the prices. Well, I went to the gas station yesterday and looked like it was up. So this is again, it's not the prices ain't coming down. All right, the prices are only going up as you see gold and silver rising. It's because the dollar is being dumped worldwide. All right, nobody wants to play ball with America no more, even their allies.
Just metals. I mean, it's all metals. And now we're seeing agricultural commodities. And soon we're going to see energy as well, oil and gas. But it's not going to be enough to, save the dollar, the U.S. dollar as the reserve currency. I think that's that.
Yeah, and that's what's going on. The world is moving away from the USD reserve currency, the petrodollar, whatever you want to call it. And now they're moving to the gold and silver backed, which ultimately is leading to the digital assets we've been going into. The oil ain't gonna save it. Stealing oil ain't from Venezuela is not gonna save the dollar, which that's what part of why they wanted it. But that is over for America. The curtains are about to close on this place.
Status has been lost. We just haven't fully, reaped the consequences of that. But we're going to see that in short order when we see a much more meaningful decline in the dollar relative to other foreign currencies, and we see that impact on consumer prices and interest rates, meaning consumer prices and interest rates will be moving substantially higher. So if people think there's an affordability crisis now, they ain't seen nothing yet.
You hear that? You think it's bad now. You ain't seen nothing yet. How's it go? So cheap. I think it's something like that. Maybe it's in the Apocrypha. So yeah. Let's see here. Because people think it's bad now. Wait till it gets compared to what's coming, prices are cheap right now. Okay, forgot how it goes. Good. Maybe it's 2 words, so I can bear with me. Oh, Lord. Yep. So 2 Ezra 16:21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. Yeah, Trump talking about prices are down and the economy's doing. That's all bullshit. But people actually think this shit's still cheap. But again, compared to what's coming, it is cheap. Oh, gas is under $3. Woo! But everything else is going up, and now with all these tariffs that Trump has been bringing, all right, all the lack of imports that are coming down the pipeline is going to send things skyrocketing. Okay, and then guess what? Evils continue to grow. The sword, famine, and great confusion. That's why you got people bugging out worldwide, upwards of the people everywhere. But we're talking about America.
Let's talk about the silver piece that I outlined at the beginning here. This idea that many of these banks are short precious metals, they're short silver.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these local banks, or a lot of banks in general, just going to be out of business because they have nothing to back anything up with now. Once the bank runs come, then what? And then people are so stupid, they're going to go to the bank and get paper money for nothing because it's going to be useless anyway. See, the whole system reset is coming. The people don't, but the average person don't know what the hell's going on. So they're going to run to the bank, try to get some money out the ATM or go to the teller, and they're going to tell them, too bad, we ain't got no more money. And that's going to cause more chaos. And then you're going to keep calling them asking them where your money, and it's gonna get to the point where there ain't nobody picking up the phone no more. All right, because the new system is about to go online soon. The flip will be switched very soon. The switch will be flipped soon.
And are we about to see?
And again, these banks, they're not holding silver and gold at your fucking local branch, whatever bank you use. All right, and these other nations are starting to hoard it. That's why China began the year off by not releasing more silver unless authorized. You know, they're not the only ones doing so. Why? Because they're moving away from the U.S. dollar, which the BRICS nations been doing that, de-dollarization, and that's going to affect you everyday losers out here in America.
A run on that? I mean, if silver hits not, it goes over 100, hits 105, like what happens to these banks?
Yeah, I think it hit like 96 or so, 95 this week, back down to 89, but it'll definitely go over 100 probably this week, coming week.
Well, I think that the people who are short silver, who don't actually own the silver, right? Some people have silver that they've hedged, but speculative short positions, I think those short sellers are in a lot of trouble. They're losing a lot of money now.
Yeah, I said it on a couple of episodes ago that the paper silver is done with. Paper commodities is over. You either own the actual commodity or you don't. And they're about to be tokenized anyway. So all that stock market shit, that shit is through.
And they're going to lose even more money in the near future. Now, whether it's enough to bankrupt some of the banks that may have underwritten, I don't think so, but it's certainly enough to create losses. And the banks are going to have a lot of problems too, not just losses on short silver positions. I mean, their loan books are going to blow up. Real estate prices are going to start to fall. Commercial has already fallen, but residential.
Yeah, the economic collapse is coming. See, that's a great reset is coming. So once this economic collapse happens in America, is a complete shit. All right, because everybody don't want to play ball with the U.S. no more. They're gonna have to do something about it and bring a new digital system to be able to cover all this debt. All right, and then continue to partake in the global system of trade. The global market. They're gonna need something. And we've already been explaining it if you've been watching our videos on the new digital system related to the MOTB. They've already got the solution. They're just waiting to hit that switch.
Was still a bubble with the air yet to come out. So there's a lot of bad debt on the books of banks. I think the banking system fundamentally is in worse shape now than it was before the 2008 financial crisis. Very few people appreciate
it's going to be worse than that era. And a lot of people, guess what? A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people went homeless. Okay. A lot of people I remember that shit, hell, we had to go to the food banks and shit. This is going to be 100 times worse. There ain't going to be no food banks. And if it is, you're going to have to, it's going to be militarized ultimately to that check comes. And then that's the only way you're going to be able to get rations from the government, or UBI, which will be paid in digital, all right, crypto, stable coin, CBDC is all going to be digital, okay? Hence why they got the digital IDs coming. It's all leading to the chip. But they need this economy to crash and bring people to their knees so they can come beg for a solution.
Precarious position of the U.S. banking system. In fact, that is one of the reasons that the Fed is cutting rates. That's one of the reasons that the Trump administration wants lower rates, is to prop up the banks.
So what are the mechanics of this then? For the average person, we got tens of thousands of people watching right now. How does this affect them personally? Like the husband and wife with 2 kids, they work at, they work jobs, they got kids going to school, they got soccer practice and all of that. How is this materially going to affect them if we see this major collapse?
Well, most Americans don't understand the degree to which the U.S. dollar's reserve status is responsible for their standard of living. But
exactly, y'all been living deliciously, all right. But like the scripture says, "She that liveth in pleasure is dead already." Actually, liveth. You Americans have been living pampered your whole life. Why? Because the American hegemony, all right, has had the power over the world because of the petrodollar, all right, the world reserve currency. That's done with. If you don't know that, then you don't know what the fuck is going on. And that's what has allowed you people to live deliciously. And most importantly, make all these people proud. Oh, America's the best country to live in. No, it's because y'all have were the hammer of the earth going around beating people into submission and telling them if they don't play ball, we gonna bomb them. And you got to use this money if you want to trade, or you got to use that, if you want some oil, so on and so forth. Or we'll put sanctions on you, and then you're fucked. Then you're a third world country with all these resources. That's all. That's done with, and that's why these nations are coming together, such as like the BRICS nations.
The degree to which the US dollar's reserve status is responsible for their standard of living. But most of the stuff that we consume in America, the products, are not made in America, right? They're imported. And how do we pay for these imports? Well, we create dollars out of thin air. And the world is
Well, I think he's going to explain it, fractional reserve banking, but let me see.
willing to accept those dollars because of the dollar's unique position in the world. If we didn't have the reserve currency and we wanted to import stuff, we'd have to export stuff of equal value to pay for it. The problem is
Americans ain't exporting shit that people is in high demand for. The average American just uses Chinese products all day. Taiwanese, Vietnam, Mexico, everything that you just look around your house right now and wherever you are, and I guarantee you most of them tags are going to say made in China. So what happens when they stop importing Chinese products or China stops exporting to America? Well, you think they're going to, in the midst of war, they're going to send you some product, Chinese product?
our economy does not produce nearly enough stuff to pay for all the things that we import. But we're able to get away with it because of the dollar status. So in other words, we live way beyond our means, and that's been enabled by the rest of the world that lives beneath its means.
Get that real quick. Lived. Let's see if I spelled that right. Oop. Revelation 18:7, how much she had glorified herself, America, and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. Yeah, so you got to live deliciously. You got to live up the American dream, which was fucking nightmare and a lie. But people still wanted to come to America, wave the flag and sing the national anthem and be proud and pompous about how great they're living compared to all the third world countries out there, which you're the reason they're living like that. But now, guess what? Torment and sorrow is coming for you. Torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow and shall see no sorrow. Which that's not the reality, because you are. It's gonna be, it says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, ultimately the thermonuclear destruction, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, who judgeth her. So before that, all right, you're gonna have to drink of that cup. What you've done to the nations around the world is now you're gonna have to reap that same fruit. All right, you're gonna reap what you sowed.
And accepts dollars in exchange for real goods. But as the dollar collapses and the world moves away from the dollar, that knocks the support from under our economy, and the people in your example are going to feel that, because now the dollars that they earn, the dollars that they saved, will buy a lot less. And so everything is going to be a lot more expensive. I'm not talking about the type of price increases we saw during the Biden years or what we may be seeing now, but something on an order of magnitude much larger. I could see
Like give an example, like a $15 hamburger at McDonald's.
Which is crazy in itself. $15 for a fucking burger at McDonald's. That's crazy.
It can become a $30 or a $50 hamburger.
There you go. And I remember Pastor Hart said this a long time ago. You're gonna sit down at a restaurant, and by the time you finish, the prices have gone up. This is gonna cause a lack of bread too, because people can't afford it. The grocery stores are gonna start shutting down because it's gonna be looting and shooting. People ain't gonna just sit around waiting for a handout. It's gonna get nasty out here, and then give Donald Trump even more excuse to come with great wrath, martial law, all right, start rationing off food and so on and so forth. It's only a matter of time.
right? Going to McDonald's may be like going to a fancy restaurant.
Right. I mean, that's massive deflation of the US dollar's buying power at the same time as inflation at pricing. So what you think you make, you're going to make a third of that in terms of purchasing power, right? So how do you prepare for that?
Yeah, I mean, and of course, some prices will go up more than others. I mean, like if you want to get a haircut, right? That's a local service provided by, a local barber. So I don't think the cost of a haircut will go up nearly as much as the cost of, buying yourself some shampoo, right? The products, goods, prices are going to rise a lot faster than service prices, which of course is a problem if you're the barber, right? Because now your income that you get cutting hair is not going up nearly as much as your cost of living. So that's going to be a big problem for a lot of people. Maybe their wages will go up, but not as much as the price of everything they have to buy.
See, it's good when the scriptures say that neither rich nor poor. That's exactly what it means. Because you ain't gonna be no middle class. You either gonna be rich or you're gonna be dirt poor. All right, to the point where you have to beg the government for assistance. And guess what? People have already begged. They've already test run this. Where is it? Revelation 13:16. He calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in the forehead. So they're setting it up for that stage. All right, to you're either gonna be rich or poor, or you can play the same game Esau does and use the world.
So I'll get you out of here on this, Peter. I mean, I've been saying for years, like, please do not put your family's future please do not tie your family's future to the US dollar. Investing in gold.
Yeah. Well, does it go, hold on.
Investing in silver, having precious metals, which have sustained for
that ain't gonna save you either. Now, it would be wise to invest into some silver and gold or some other assets, digital, but I'm not here to give you any financial advice, but let me just show you what the scriptures say. I think it's in, what is it, Zechariah maybe? Zephaniah. Hold on, let me do this. It's like it. It is, let's see. Okay, Zephaniah. Yeah. Because tangible gold and silver, you will be able to barter for a while, right? But who the hell's going to trade a coin of silver for a gallon of milk or a gallon of water? Why would they do that? Where are they going to go use that for? At they can't go to the store with it. You can't go to the grocery store and give them a block of gold. Look at you like you crazy. I'm buying the whole shelf with this 3 ounces of gold or 1 ounce of gold. You're liable to get put to death right there on the spot. They're gonna take your gold and keep the resources. It's all moving digital because gold and silver itself will be tokenized. But here it is, Zephaniah 1:18. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of Yahweh's wrath. But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. So gold and silver ain't gonna save nobody. However, it can be used for a point to barter. But guess what? Gold and silver are about to become digital assets via tokenization. Right? And if you know how to work the system, if you know how to use the system, which Esau does all these loopholes, and the information's out there, and it's not illegal to use those loopholes. So we'll play the game that he plays. Shit, Donald Trump, while he was running for president, straight up told the American people that he plays them loopholes.
1,000 years. Is that still a smart play at this stage?
Yeah, I mean, look,
Right, that was it on that, pretty much. See what else we got here. Oh yeah, this is one last one.
Good morning.
So this is Canada and China. All right, which this is one of the members of NATO. And we already know the whole situation with Greenland and how they sent 38 troops out there. European Union or the NATO sent like 38 people out there to defend against an American invasion, which that's a joke. But again, NATO, the EU, that's the beast. All right, Canada's part of the NATO. It says, Revelation 17:16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and fire. So again, NATO being part of the beast, just wanted to show this because we already know that these, which I'll pull it up here in a second. Hold on, actually. NATO troops. Before I go to that, let me get this real quick. News. We'll go to news. Pull this up over here. Okay, so European military personnel.
Nope.
Trust me.
Yeah, damn.
What the fuck? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Fucking bitch. It says, let's see, hold on, let me get the latest news. There we go. So by date. NATO's Greenland Defense Sea symbolic troop deployment. NATO deploys just 37 troops to Greenland. That's a fucking joke. But nonetheless, they're talking shit against Trump, the EU and NATO. How could Canada, EU, NATO respond to U.S. takeover of Greenland? So that's the beast. How will the beast respond to the U.S., the whore? Well, let's read it. They shall hate the whore. These shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate. That's ultimately going to be the response. So let's play this.
Good morning.
There are a number of specific issues, and I've outlined them that where we've made progress in our strategic partnership. But we spent a fair bit of time in all of those meetings about the guardrails, if you will, of the relationship, where we felt we could cooperate, where we had differences of opinion, where we had differences of view in the system, respecting each other's differences in the system. And that sort of candid and consistent dialogue, frank dialogue, that leads to a more predictable and effective relationship. Our relationship, the one comparison I will give you with the United States, our relationship, this is no insight, is much more multifaceted, much deeper, much broader than it is with China. But yes, in terms of the way that our relationship has progressed in recent months with China, it is more predictable, and you see results coming from that.
So there you go. All right. America's allies are siding with the enemy. even Putin, all right, was back in telling NATO, this ain't right, whatever. So let's see here. Let me just type that in. Add Putin into the mix there. See what it says. Putin aid issues veiled threat to Trump as U.S. eyes Greenland after Venezuela. Trump stated reasons for blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Putin secretly moves troops. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, so, hey, man, America's crumbling in all ways. Financially, all right, the economy's tanking, the civil unrest, the confusion amongst the government in itself, all right? So the people, the morale is low. So just expect things to get a lot worse, a lot quicker until the return of our Lord. So with that, Lord's willing, this was edifying. Going to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachak double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone who were well. And salutation and much love to the Akim out there pushing out his word in truth and sincerity. And as well, shalom to the rest of the elect of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.